This is official results after round 2, which was at Spa. The first race was at Long Beach. Fair to say, hard to overtake on that track, obviously. So yeah, it was quite a hard track, that one, for the guys. So some of these aren't in order, so I'll go in order by obviously the total highest points. You'll Be Dead is on top with 156 points. The championship leader is currently in the lobby. I'll just click over to see if he is. Yep, and he's currently on the fastest lap time, so he's looking strong earlier on. Then we got Philtron MX5 on 135 points. We got Morningstar Mike on 120 points. He's in our Sunday league, so he'll be pretty familiar to the guys that tune in frequently on Sunday nights. And then all the way down in 4th, we got Bruno on 116 points. He has some pretty good form in the GT3 cars, and he'll be looking for a strong performance tonight. We'll go up to Sparky God on 94 points. And we got Exorcist on 84, another Sunday night league face we're familiar with. And then we got Brett Want, debutant last Sunday in the Sunday League, GTEs. Obviously, he came second in that race, and he'll be looking for a good haul of points tonight. And he sees himself on 64 points. Nachos, he sees himself on 39 points. He needs to get a big points haul tonight to push himself up further up the standings. So hopefully we see some good performances from those guys really needing points. So we'll go to live scenes. I think there's about 5 minutes of practice left. So I'll switch over the better screen for me. So we got You'll Be Dead on top with a 144.1, and we might be seeing 143s in qualifying. So don't be too surprised if we do. And then we got JJ Penguin on a 144.3. It's very close times from the top two. And we got Phil half a second back from the lead on a 144.7. Morningstar Mike on a 144.9. So the top 4 guys all in the 44s. We got Exorcist 2.5 seconds back in the 46. And 2 non-lap recorded drivers in Sparky and Brett Want. So maybe making some setup changes there. I know Sparky just came out of the pit, so he'll be on a warm-up lap. So we'll get to know how these drivers are going with their car setup, if it's going to be good enough for quali. If not, they don't have much time to make some necessary changes. So if they're not happy with the car, they're going to have to make some changes fairly quick, I'd say. And even though it's an outlap, got a bit loose there for Sparky at the bus stop. But cold tyres wouldn't help. So he's got a fast approach on the outlap. He's really pushing it, drifting around the corners. So we got guys doing different ways to warm up their tyres. You can see on the race feed, obviously, a lot of drivers exceeding track limits, and I would assume that will be in the last sector, where that runoff area is. So when the tyre deg with the tyres obviously goes down, the guys are going to be struggling there. Their braking markers are going to be a lot longer for them to be able to turn it in where they need to. Otherwise, if they go the slightest bit wide, they're going to be penalised with a slowdown penalty. So not what they would want. So we'll see what happens tonight. We've still got Brett Want in the pits. Got the provisional practice pole sitter in the pits. Penguin, he's on a hot lap. He's down the back straight, heading into the bus stop. See how he gets his car pulled up. It's a bit mangled on my end, the front splitter. But I would assume that car is alright. So have we got any faster sector time from Penguin? We've got none on my race feed. So we'll go on board Chase View, on board with Penguin. We see that darker area on the track. A lot of the guys will be taking that as a braking zone. You could go slightly deeper with fresh tyres, but once the race goes on, they're going to have to extend that braking zone. So we still got no fastest sector 2 for Penguin. He's really really going to have to push it through sector 3. Got to be careful not to exceed track limits on the runoff here. Very cautious with his approach. Don't want to get it too far in the inside there, because the back wheels will spin even though you have traction. And fastest lap from Penguin with a 1:43.6. Awesome pace. Now I told you, a time of a 1:43 won't be surprising. If the guys push a 1:42, then I'll be very shocked. But that's going to come down to a lot of car setup in regards to, you know, how the guys have set up their cars. It's an awesome lap by Penguin there. Good form by him. Now, You'll Be Dead. Is he? Looks like he's going to go for a hot lap. This will be his out lap. So he's going to have another attempt at it. His last lap. We've got a minute remaining. Don't get your hopes up yet. This ain't qualifying. And the times are still close. So hopefully it's very similar. And lucky to not get away. Lucky to get away with not exceeding track limits there. Got an awesome exit out of the last corner. See how he sets himself up for turn 1. Brakes just before the 200 meter mark. Yeah, really had the rest of that car through turn 1. The Acura, very good car, very easy to drive. One of the easier GTEs to drive. And I think JJ Penguin will be on another lap as well, but whether his tyres will hold on or not, I don't know. So I don't know if faster sector splits are going to pop up in practice, because Penguin just blitzed the time that You'll Be Dead set earlier on in this session. Lap looks clean. This will be a qualifying rehearsal for You'll Be Dead. He's just going to make sure he doesn't go on the runoff. Second last corner. There's going to be a lot of those mistakes, and using every bit of road there, he almost hit the wall. Getting it turned in early so he can attack it a lot more. A lot narrower line from You'll Be Dead, and he scraped the wall, and that would have cost him a lot of time. I wouldn't think he would punch above, but he does improve. A 1:44.1 from You'll Be Dead. JJ, he's on a hot lap here in the Audi. Do we see enough for an improvement for Penguin? We'll find out in about 20 seconds time. We can hear the differences in engine noises of the GT3s as well. The Audi sounding a lot different from the Acura. And the session seems to be done, so I think Penguin already crossed the control line when the checkered flag was out. So obviously your practice results there. Penguin with an awesome lap time of a 1:44.6. You'll Be Dead following Penguin by 5/10, with a 1:44.1. Filtron MX with a 1:44, almost 5. He's going to have to find a bit of time in qualifying. Morningstar Mike also need to look to get a bit more time out of his lap. So Qualifying is going to be a big task for Mike there. Exorcist, also a big task. He recorded a 1:44.7, 3 seconds behind the pace. Sparky God, 1:47.7 rather, 4 seconds off the pace. I'm sure there's a few setup changes that he can make. And Brett Want with no time recorded, obviously mucking around with car setup. So we'll see how we go for this qualifying session. It's 15 minutes. We'll get right into this when everything clicks over. Just got a bit of a sore throat tonight as well, so I'm trying to be enthusiastic when I do my calls, but if I cough, that's the reason why. Got a bit of a sore throat. So there's some pretty good times there. I remember when I first raced on Watkins Glen with the Acura that You'll Be Dead's using, I got a 1:45.7 back on the first update, so I don't know how much that time can be improved these days, but I'm sure it could be up, well and truly up there with You'll Be Dead and Penguin. So we flicked over to qualifying. Who's going to blink first? Who's not? Who's going to make some last minute setup changes? So I hear the Ferrari of Brett Want, who didn't record a lap in practice. He's the first to blink. So he's following him. So we got Morningstar Mike following. You'll Be Dead following. So we'll go on board with Brett Want. Had an awesome debut in the GTE Sunday Series. I'm sure a big haul of points today is on the cards for him. We know he has good pace. He's just got to execute it. He's got to make sure he doesn't make mistakes, as well as every other driver on this field. They've got a job to do, and that's to keep the car straight and to keep it in the running for a race win. So they all got the same task today, but only one of them can win the race. And the same with the GTE Sunday Series. They offer points for qualifying, so same point system as we do Sunday night. 6 points for pole, 4 for second, and 2 for third. And the other point system is completely different, but it's pretty simple. It keeps it close. So we'll go chase for you. On board with Brett Want. We had another driver join in Nachos. So he's going to have to get up to scratch pretty quick. He's going to have to load his car up on Brett Want, letting You'll Be Dead through. So we'll go on board with You'll Be Dead. Brett Want may not be well and truly happy with his car setup. Getting a gauge of it on the outlap, maybe tyre pressures or something, is the wrong setting. So he might be going in to change settings like that. So You'll Be Dead. Brakes just before the 200 metre mark in the Acura. A very easy car to drive in this class of GTE. He's chosen a really good car. It's also very fast. I think this is more of an Audi show as well. We got a few guys go on the Audi. I think half the grid go on Audi. We got Filtron MX-5 in a Porsche. We saw Brett Want in a Ferrari. Oh, so Sparky God's also on the Acura. Good choice from him. And this is the Lambo. Nacho is driving the Lamborghini. Penguin, the Audi. Yeah, Filtron MX-5, the Porsche. Audi for EXO and Audi for Morningstar Mike. So we go back on board with You'll Be Dead, who may be holding. His car ghosted out there. I'm not sure what's going on. May have made a mistake. I'm trying to go on board with who's behind him. Yeah, it's Nachos. So we'll see what sort of lap time You'll Be Dead records. Keep in mind he needs to find 5 temps if Penguin is to record another lap time of a 43.6, I think it was. Now what's this? So 1:40.45.7. So once track evolution plays its role, we'll start to see quicker times. Brett Want, he was on an outlap there. So we'll go on board with Brett Want. Very smooth. Very smooth through the first sector. Probably could have used a bit of the inside a bit more to shorten the track. Braking slightly early, but we know if you brake slightly early, if you time it right, you can get a better exit. So, taking the wide approach around this long right-hander. You'll be in the second sector now, braking very deep into this reasonably fast left-hander. Don't want to get it on the red and yellow curbs there, otherwise the wheel will slide out on you. Same up as at this hairpin. Keeping a wide approach, keeping as much grip as possible, and then a narrow exit.
It's not there, so
Right, so it'll be in the last sector now. I'll be right back. I'll be 2 seconds. Sorry about that. I am back. I should do something. So what have we got? A 44 flight from You'll Be Dead. So he's slightly improved from his practice time. But if he wants to compete for pole position, he's going to have to get in the 43s. Penguin, not up to pace yet. He's only recorded a 1:45.7. Filtron, 1:45.4. And Brett Want, separated by 1/10 from You'll Be Dead on a 1:44.1. So, even though he didn't participate in practice, I reckon Brett Want is going to be one of these guys that get into the 1:43s. So, looking the promising signs for Brett Want here. We got Sparky in the pits, maybe making some setup changes. Penguin Wheelie struggling in P5, not able to chuck a lap together that he would want. Exo in P6, I'm sure that's an improvement on his practice time, a 1:46.4. We got Nachos, that would have been an outlap. And Morningstar Mike, who seems to be a hot lap from Morningstar Mike here. So we'll stay on board with him. He's in the Audi R8. Oh, using every bit of road there. He had nothing left on the right hand side. Really struggling through here. A lot of understeer. Is he going to scrape the wall and exit? No, he keeps it in narrow. And what's this from Morningstar Mike? He goes up 4 positions into P4, 1:45.2. Massive lock up heading into turn 1. So You'll Be Dead, as we speak, has finally got into the 1:43s, but it's still 3 temps off of the time that Penguin recorded in practice. So, and there we go. JJ Penguin with a 1:43.5, and that's an improvement from his practice time. So he's on the ball tonight, Penguin. He's looking for a clean sweep of points here, I would assume, as well as everyone. But to be able to do that, you're going to be able to have this sort of pace that he's punching out right now. Closest competitor in You'll Be Dead, Brett Want, closely following You'll Be Dead behind. And then a little further back is Filtron MX5. Very deep on the brakes in the turn 1. Gets it pulled up very nicely there. Now the Porsche might be struggling for straight line speed, but when it comes to a lot of the cornering here, it really thrives. So it's a high downforce car, this one. Not a lot of power. It's a flat 6, so it'll be lacking a lot of power in comparison to the V10s of the Audi R8. I'm not sure what the Acura is. It'll be at least an 8-cylinder engine, but as well as the Ferrari, I think that's a 10-cylinder engine as well. So they've got the power advantage over the Porsche. And the Lambo will be pushing 10 cylinders as well. So quite surprising to see guys going for the lower power cars, but obviously a lot easier to drive. So we'll stay on board with Filtron MX5 here. Really having to get off the accelerator a little bit to get it turned in. Suffering with slightest bit of understeer. Oh, bit of extra oversteer. Had to make a correction and put it into the wall, and that lap is done for Phil. So we'll go on board with You'll Be Dead, our championship leader in this series. Obviously on an out lap. So he'll be getting sorry. He'll be getting those brakes and tyres up the temp later on in this lap. Track evolution should be alright now. We got 4 minutes to go. If You'll Be Dead's got anything left in the pot, now's the time to do it, because the track is gripped up. Should be able to find an extra couple attempts with that extra grip, and an extra couple temps maximising corner entry and corner exit at a few of these corners. So we'll stay on board with You'll Be Dead here. How deep is he going to go? Deeper than his first lap. He gets it pulled up pretty well, but a lot of extra overstick would cost him a bit of time there. It's running smooth through this fast roller coaster section. Now the bus stop rewards braking deep here, so that brake as deep as possible. There's a lot of reward. So taking it very easy and smooth there. Taking the wide line still, so by the looks of it, there's no grip at that fast right-hander still. No one going there. I don't think anyone will for the rest of this session. But there is a lot of time gained out of those corners if you can use a lot of the inside curves. So it's got to be gripped up though. So You'll Be Dead aborting that lap. We'll go on board with Brett Want. We'll see if this lap is an improvement. A lot of curb heading into the last corner. It sets him into the wall. And that lap, well, I'm pretty sure it would be bin. It is. Yep. So we're on board with Nachos in the solitary Lamborghini. Braking very deep at the hairpin. Sets him out wide. Probably went wider than usual than he would want. Would have had to let off the accelerator there, I'm sure of that. So he's got a lot of time to find here. I'm not sure how the Lambo handles, but it's got a lot of power behind it. Sounds very similar to the Audi R8, so it's obviously to hint that it is a 10-cylinder. And he seemed to be struggling with a lot of understeer, so might have to make a couple changes before the race. But is this an improvement for him? It is. It's up, I think, 3 temps. So we'll go on board with Exo, who's just further up from Nachos. Also on the Audi R8, so I think if I recall, there was 3. Using a lot of curve through this roller coaster section. Don't usually see that a lot, but there must be a considerable amount of grip to do that. How deep is he braking? As usual, like everyone else at the 300 meter mark. A bit wide through the second chicane at the bus stop. Seems to be put up nicely. He needs to find 9 attempts to improve in terms of grid position. We've got Sparky God in P6. We'll go on board with him after this lap from EXO. So a lot of engine braking from EXO at the hairpin there. Guys do that in the longer race. They're going to be suffering with slight less power, but obviously not too much to ruin a race. If it was an endurance, you'd be very cautious with the engine. But because you can technically count the 35-minute race as another sprint race as well, the guys will be really using their engines to brake their car at these braking zones, so they can try to get a little bit deeper, and obviously there's a lot of gain out of that as well. Obviously, if you do it at every corner, you'll be gaining at every corner. So, no improvement for EXO, and that is qualifying done for him. Now we'll go on board with Sparky God, who is about to finish his lap. In the last sector now, so he needs to at least find 3 attempts to improve and knock Morningstar Mike off P5. So, very smooth through the last 2 corners. The Acura seems to be very good at this track, but no improvement for him. Sees himself locked in the P6. You'll be dead. I think he's done. Brett Wan, final corner. Is this an improvement for him? It is not. On board with Filtron MX5 in the Porsche. Very narrow on entry. Should be narrow on exit as well. Yep. So he's using a lot more of the inside road there at these hairpin sections and the fast left right-handers. Seeing guys start to hit these apexes now because there's a lot more grip. I think some guys left their run a bit too late to get that grip. He's skimmed the wall there, I think, but there was a lag spike from my end. Had to let off the accelerator a bit, otherwise he would have had a lap invalidation. Not what he would want right now, because I think this is a very good lap and should be able to compete against the top 3. Now, he was the last car in Phil, but there was no improvement there. So, we'll go through the grid. JJ Penguin, awesome lap. I think 1/10 improvement from practice with 1:44.3, awesome effort. Followed by You'll Be Dead, further 4 attempts down. It's a very good effort from him as well. So, I'll call the grid here. So, we got You'll Be Dead in second. Brett Want in third. Filtron MX5 completing the second row in fourth. Morningstar Mike in fifth. Sparky God in sixth. Exorcist in seventh. And Nachos in eighth. So, what we'll do, this is our championship leader, You'll Be Dead. His closest rival, I think. I'll quickly have a look. Not too familiar with the standings. I had a look at it a couple times. Closest rival in Filtron MX5 in the Porsche starts right behind his championship rival in You'll Be Dead. So no Bruno tonight. Another one of our quick guys in the GT3s. So no points for him tonight. And we got JJ Penguin, who's on pole position. He earned himself the 6 points. Penguin's 8th, so he's going to have to get a big haul of points tonight if he's to challenge for the championship later on in the season. So I think after this is about 4 more rounds. So not many rounds left for Penguin to gain ground on. So realistically, he's going to have to all but win every race to remain in contention, unless our championship leader in You'll Be Dead has a poor result or a DNF. So we're about to go green. We hit a revs. The lights are about to go out. And we're green in the GT3 Thunder Series. And a good start by JJ Penguin. He'll have the inside line. You'll Be Dead on the outside. He's going to have to hold station here. Brett Wan following closely behind You'll Be Dead. And Philtron MX5 almost lost position there to Sparky God, but held him off. And now Sparky God, a lot of pressure from Morningstar Mike. We've got EXO, and then we got Nachos. So we'll go on board with Phil to oversee the back of the lead pack. He's got a very good view of it because these three in front of him are very close. They're looking to see which lines are going to work for him earlier on. No grip on the track, so they'll be searching for grip. And Brett Wan poking it down the inside, but not making the move. You might set him up the hairpin down here. But You'll Be Dead defending very heavily. You'll be in the dirty stuff. Very good from him. Didn't lock up, even though I'm pretty sure majority of them will have authentic settings here. I did see one lock up in qualifying, so I think that was from Morningstar Mike. So this front pack, very chaotic here, but JJ Penguin, he's got a little bit of a buffer in 1 second. So looking good earlier on for Penguin, looking to convert his pace of 143 to the race. Brett Wan, is he going to send it down the inside? No, he's not. We'll go on board with Brett Wan. Very good opportunity, turn 1, but I think he's too far back. He might show the nose if he wants to get into You'll Be Dead's head. So he's really applying the pressure here now. This is awesome stuff from these guys, even though it's the first lap done. Still awesome effort, not the crash on the first lap. And something's happened to Morningstar Mike because he's been relegated back in the 8th position. Brett Wan with a bit of a mistake in the bus stop. I think he's not vulnerable to Phil here, but he's lost a bit of time to the front two guys. We'll go on board with Sparky God. He's chasing down the Audi R8 of EXO. He's making pretty good ground just in one corner, so might be able to get in the slipstream down the straights and hopefully gain some time there. Oh, he's made a massive mistake taking the inside curb. No grip there earlier on, so he's lost a lot of time. Nachos following Sparky God as well, and then Morningstar Mike closely behind Nachos, so that battle should be able to form in a matter of laps. So we're on board with the front two. You'll Be Dead, 8 attempts of drift from JJ Penguin. And then we got Brett Wan, 5 seconds of drift from You'll Be Dead. And this is our top 3. The podium positions. So our championship leader looking to extend his points lead over Phil at the moment. Got a 2 position advantage, and Phil did not get any points for qualifying either, so there was some points gained there. And the weather looks to be a bit out of whack here. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if it's going to rain or if it's just light fog. We'll soon find out. But if it starts to rain, guys, we'll be struggling because it wouldn't be worth to pit in for wets. It'll be much more worth it to stay out on slicks and just hope for the best. So these guys still experimenting with different lines. And Brett Want would also be evaluating You'll Be Dead. See where he's weak, see where he can make a move. JJ Penguin in a league of his own, a second ahead of You'll Be Dead. He's got some pretty good pace in the Acura. Obviously, that's a Honda, but in GT3 we call it the Acura. So, a Honda GT3 car. And what's happened there with You'll Be Dead? He's lost a lot of time right there, and Brett Want's going to try and make the most of that opportunity. I think this lap, if he's going to make a move, it will be at either the hairpin or the corner preceding the hairpin. Those are two awesome overtaking opportunities. And we got a... Oh, no. So, JJ Penguin rotated at turn 1. Must have really heated up those rear tyres. He has awesome pace, but he's going to struggle now. I wouldn't think he'll get back on the podium, but obviously anything can happen. We still got 9 minutes to go. He's going to have to punch out those 1:43 lap times. Scrapes the wall through the fast roller coaster section. So, You'll Be Dead. He'll be clapping his hands together for that one. Obviously, we don't want to see drivers crashing, but from the driver's end, they'll be cheering. They get a position gain, more points to their championship standings. And for You'll Be Dead, that's a massive difference. Extensive point lead by at least a couple more points. So he's looking to have the early season advantage so he can obviously play it safe later on. So Brett Want chasing You'll Be Dead down still. We can see the different approaches to how drivers take these corners. Obviously, driving different cars, different lines might favour the different cars as well. But I know when I drove the Acura on this track, I experimented with it and there was plenty of lines to go with that one. So JJ Penguin, he pushed way too hard at turn 1. He'd be really kicking himself after that moment. There's 13 seconds adrift. There's no way he can get up the first with 7 minutes to go. It's just not possible unless these two tangle here. That's the only way he'll be back in with a chance. You'll Be Dead, bit slow through the bus stop. He's going to have to defend hard here because Brett Want's right on his tail. He wouldn't chuck it down the inside here. He's going to set him up for the hairpin. Went a bit wide, so maybe not now. You might be able to set him up at the next corner. You can see the different approaches. Brett Want's trying to experiment, see if he can get some more time gain out with the wider approaches. He's obviously not going to make a move this lap. Try to find. So we got Sparky God in the pits. I'm not sure what's happened there. We got Morningstar Mike in 7th because of that. We got Nachos in 6th. We got JJ Penguin in 5th. Very unfortunate for him. He's looking to gain a lot of time. We got EXO in 4th. We got Philtron MX5 in 3rd. We got Brett Want in 2nd. Closely following You'll Be Dead, who's made a mistake. And Brett Want's going to make the move here. He's going to try and put You'll Be Dead as wide as possible so he can get the move done without the crossover. Extraordinary block there from Brett. He made sure he couldn't do the crossover. So You'll Be Dead be kicking himself for that mistake at the last corner. And he's got into the slipstream of Brett Want. Be very optimistic if he makes a move heading into the bus stop. I think he's going to hold station here. He is. He's going to try set him up for the hairpin. Whether or not that works, we'll soon find out. So, he's a bit further back now. He's 4 attempts. He needs to find at least 2. He's got the inside line. Be compromised on exit because he's got limited grip. Not going to be able to make the move. He's just going to have to hold it behind. Brett makes a little bit of a mistake. That invites a bit of trouble for himself. You can't play into You'll Be Dead's hands. Even though he's pressuring you very hard, you got to try and block that out as hard as possible. Because otherwise you'll be making mistakes at every corner. And You'll Be Dead right on his tail. Taking the narrow approach, but Exit's very compromised with taking that line. And Brett went out wide, so he might have a slowdown there. He might have a slowdown. He might move off the racing line. Or if not, he's just going to take the penalty and move on. Either way, you'd rather take the penalty instead of slowing down because you lose a lot more time out of doing that. I've learnt that from first-hand experience, that's for sure. It's very frustrating. But You'll Be Dead. Lost out a bit of time through the fast roller coaster section. Filtron MX5, 6 seconds behind the front 2. Still Penguin up into P4. Nacho's up in the P5 and Morningstar Mike up in the P6. So EXO has made a mistake. I wonder if he's coming into the pits. He might be struggling a bit here. Nah, so he's going to keep going as long as possible. And Penguin's just circulating these laps so he can get some points. There's still a big points haul for 8, but at this stage he's obviously got provisional pole for the reverse grid race. So obviously there's a lot more points on offer there. If he can hold that, he's going to get a big haul of points in the next race. So he's going to be looking to experiment later in this race, so he can use that to his advantage in the next one. So You'll Be Dead. He slipped another 8 attempts here. So in terms of pace, Brett won. Awesome pace in P1. Hasn't made a mistake all race, except for the little mistakes of going out wide, but he's getting better exits than You'll Be Dead. Filtron MX5 still holding on the P3 with relative ease, because JJ Penguin is a further 15 seconds back from Phil. So as far as Penguin's concerned, I reckon 4th is what he's got to settle for. He'll be starting on the 3rd row of the grid in the reverse grid race. The longer race, there'll be a mandatory pit stop. So we got a battle here between Morningstar Mike and Nachos. Is Nachos going to play it hard? I'm sure he will. Morningstar Mike's going to be very aggressive here. But Nacho positioning his car in an awkward spot for Morningstar Mike to overtake. It's all right in this later stage in the race. But he goes wide because he's on the dirtiest side. Almost a bump side by side from Nacho and Morningstar Mike. Nacho's going to have the slipstream down the back straight. He's set himself offline there, and there's a little mistake. Grazing the wall. That favours Morningstar Mike very favourably. So Nacho seemed to be improving with this pace and car setup, but a few mistakes is setting him back. He's got to find some consistency in race 2, because that is the longer race. It's going to be quite hard if you're making those little mistakes in the longer race, because your race will be done through the mid-time. So he's going to have to try find some consistency there. And You'll Be Dead, still 2 seconds adrift from Brett Want. Brett Want seems to be in relative control here. With 30 seconds to go, I'm pretty sure this will be the last lap. As long as Brett Want doesn't make a severe mistake, he should have this race in the bag. As well as Philtron MX-5, P3 secured for him, as long as he doesn't make a mistake. Just keeping it clean because he can't catch the front guys. Got JJ Penguin, P4. He's just going to have to settle for P4 here. But he'll be starting further up than the top 3 guys. And he'll be liking that. Morningstar Mike in 5th had early troubles in this race. Went all the way back to P8. But got to keep in mind, I'm pretty sure he did start P5, so no position gain for him. And we've got EXO in P6. Position gain for EXO and Nacho. And a massive loss for Sparky God. But if we're talking about reverse grid, he'll be pretty happy to have reverse grid pole because he'll be able to set the pace. He has track position there. And all the fast guys are at the back. And we know how quick Sparky God is. He was mixing it up with the top 5 guys. So he's got some good pace behind him. He might be able to convert a race win from that provisional pole in race 2. So, as it stands, Brett Want doing his, obviously winning burnout. Awesome job from him. You'll be dead in 2nd in the Honda. So I should call it the Acura. I wonder if Phil's going to do a burnout here. He is. A lot of these guys would have traction on, so we're not going to see perfect burnouts. But we're going to see alright burnouts. They might be able to do some figure 8s. Brett Want really heating those tyres up. I'm sure he's going to have no tread after that. I don't have the tyre temps here, but I'm sure they're done. Wouldn't be good enough for the next race. Be in the wall at turn 1. So we've got JJ Penguin in 4th. Very bad mistake from him. He had that win in the bag, assuming he kept the car straight. But further up in the reverse grid, he'll still be reasonably happy. Morningstar Mike in 5th, EXO in 6th, and Nacho in 7th, about to cross the line. He'll be the last of our finishers. And we'll be going into race 2. I think we're all done. Yep, we are. So Brett Want's left the session here. He's joined back, so that's all good. So we'll go through the results one more time. Brett Want first, you'll be dead 2nd. Philtron MX-5 3rd. Penguin, awful mistake in 4th. Morningstar Mike 5th. Exorcist in 6th. Nachos in 7th. And Sparky God and 8th, who have pole position for the reverse grid. So as you see it now, from last to first, that's your grid order for the next race. So we'll wait for the guys to click it over, and hopefully we'll be underway shortly. I'm just going to get a quick drink, so a little 2-minute break from me. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So I'll vote start, let them know I'm ready. I've got a cold beer in my hands right now, so we'll be able to watch this race with relative enjoyment, because the last one wasn't complete without a beer. I don't care if I get freaking strikes for saying that I'm drinking a beer while freaking streaming, but for this sort of stuff, you sit back, if you're watching, you have a beer and you watch it. So we're going in the race 2, and just to refresh everyone, the structure for this race is 35 minutes as far as I've read from the event page, and mandatory pit stop. Pit lane opens at the end of lap 6, so end of lap 6 they'll be able to start pitting in. I'm sure we'll be able to see the undercut effect play into people's hands if they can get in early enough. But if not, we might see some drivers overcut. So there's going to be a variation in strategies here. So they'll have a formation lap. They'll get into position, and yeah, so they'll organise themselves, and it'll be a rolling start here. So relatively hard work for Phil on this formation lap. He's just got to drop back a whole heap of positions. JJ Penguin has to move up a few. You'll be dead. He's in his right position. Morningstar Mike, one position off. Sparky God is going to have to go all the way up the pole. Brett Want, he will be starting P8. Nacho will be starting P2. Who else we got? There will be EXO in P3. So Penguin got disconnected from comms. Oh, his game muted. Might have to start another room. But I'm not in control of this lobby, so the guy's hosting, Morningstar Mike, that he'll get it sorted if they need a restart. Yep, so we're going to need another room apparently. So start will be slightly delayed, unfortunately for the viewers. Good outing from these guys tonight. Very hard to get guys racing on a weekday, I'm sure of that. 8 guys is what we usually get. No, I didn't mute them. I'm just in my own party, so in my own private party, so I don't have to. So I can't mute them during the race. Alright, so just keep in mind this is the formation lap. So they'll get themselves into position. We shouldn't see any crashes on the formation lap, although nasty stuff has happened like that before. But I'm sure these guys are civilized enough to put themselves into the position they need to. Now we got a disconnection here, I think. Oh yeah, Morningstar Mike. So he might be going in to set up another lobby. I'll wait in this lobby. So yep, confirmation from Mike. Restarting the session. So I'll leave this one. Sorry for the delay, guys. It's just the usual stuff that happens with league racing sometimes. Especially with Australian internet, it's quite shocking. So I'll flick back over so we can refresh the point scenario, even though the points haven't been added for the first sprint race at the Glen. So you'll be dead in first with 156 points. Spare to say would have obviously expanded his championship lead on Filtron MX5. He's on 135 points prior to round 3. Morningstar Mike would have lost out severely. He's in P3 right now on 120 points. Bruno didn't make it tonight, so he's lost out. He's on 116. And then we got Sparky God, P5, 94 points. He'll be fuming over that turn 1 incident, heating up the rear tyres. Alright, so I've got an invite. No, not from him. Alright, so we're joining this session. Sorry for leaving you on the other screen. So yeah, so we'll get back to it. So we got Exodus in 6 on 81. Nacho's in 9th on 39. Like, I've missed Brett Want in 7th, so he's on 64. So I'll have to, just for their reference, next time I'll tell them how to get the ranking system done for their leaderboard. So we'll go back to live scene. Oh, approval needed. There we go. So on the right, yep. I'll vote to start. We'll get this underway. I should say back underway, because had a few hold-ups. It's not what we want. Seems to happen every time on project cars lately, so it's got to be a mix of our shitty Australian internet and the project cars servers. So I think they aim for the race to be approximately 35 minutes. I'm not sure how it's going, but there will be a mandatory pit stop. They've got 16 laps. Mute again. Yeah, no, I haven't muted them because I'm in my own private party. I think next time the guys are just going to have to go into a private party, because I seem to be having struggles, and I think that's happened on Sunday night as well. Obviously they need comms for the formation lap, but yeah, I think the guys should know roughly where they're abouts. Obviously for Sparky, he'll know he's on pole. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Yeah, make a party chat, yeah. That's what I was going to say. I said it on stream. Fit 16 people in a party chat now, so if it does come to it, and they got a full lobby of 16 people, that's no drama. Right. Brett seems to think we'll be alright. We'll soon find out. But yeah, we'll go on board with Sparky, because if this gets underway in this session here, he'll be our pole sitter on the formation lap. I'm not sure how they're doing it, if they're doing it single file or double file, but I'm sure if it's double file, I'm pretty sure Sparky would elect to take the inside line heading into turn 1. So, just a heads up. Oh, so we got a jump start from Filtron already. That's not good. We might have to restart now. We might have to restart, unfortunately. unless they get him to serve his drive through and they do an extra formation lap. That will be the only way they don't have to restart it. So what's going on with Sparky here? I'm trying to look for Phil. So Phil does have a drive-through penalty to his name, so I'm not sure what's going to go on here. Without comms on their end, they might be in struggle town here. See what's going on. So yeah, I think Mike's setting up another session. They're all going to chat party up, and they should have comms that way. We got a little bit of racing here. Get a bit of auditioning for the feature race, and he's rear-ended him. Nachos has been rear-ended and he's rolled. Freaking massive amounts of damage there. Be at least a few $100,000 worth of damage between the three cars. And who's that parked up? That would be... You'll be dead. He's parked up right next to him. Wants to get in the picture here. There's Exo. Car doesn't look to be too bad. Yeah, Nacho's there in the background struggling with the amounts of aero deficiency he has in that friggin' Lambo. Alright, so hopefully third time lucky. It's happened last few times we've strained, so we've got to find some way to stop this disconnection stuff from happening with comms and all that. There's always that one person that obviously gets that problem. So I'll have to be granted the access tomorrow. Shouldn't be too far off that. Hopefully it all pans out this time. Sorry for the inconvenience for the viewers watching. Yeah, I can't join the party chat because I have all the chatter in the stream. I know probably get it post race. So I'm waiting for my permission to be granted for the race director position. You don't actually need two people for these roles, but if you want more convenient and much easier for the one person calling the show, obviously the race director there is obviously for that, but don't have someone that can just flick through the cameras. I'd rather do it myself anyway because it makes it easier for me to call the race as it unfolds. So we just, yeah, there we go. Approval needed. Now I've got the right roll. Yep, we're ready to start. I'll let them know I'm ready. Hopefully they get themselves sorted. Hopefully that party chat thing works. They should be able to communicate their group positions. So hopefully next week or the week after we can get some highlight videos going. So when we're waiting in between, I'll put those up. I must have some little briefing going on in regards to starting position. So we're starting up now. Fingers crossed. So we'll see the track statistics on screen. 5.43 kilometers. I think that's about a bit under 3 miles, so if there's any Americans here, and 11 turns, so it's a reasonably long track with a reasonably little amount of corners, so there's a lot of long straights and a lot of fast sections, so very technical track, especially considering you have to keep speed up around every corner. If you drop that speed out, then you're vulnerable to the car behind and they'll be able to make the move on you, so it's so much easier than having to pray and hope down the inside. So I'm sure they have comms now. They'll get themselves sorted and we can get this race underway. So unfortunate for Sparky, he needs to get up right in the P1. So he's got a lot of work to do before the race even starts to get into his pole position. I think Nacho's in second, so he's got a lot of work to do to get up to the front. These two got to communicate to get up there without crashing. Can't both go up there. We've got JJ Penguin, very bad mistake last race. Brett Want back there as well in the Ferrari. Very good pace from him. And a very good win from him, I should say. Got EXO in the Audi R8, number 96. You'll Be Dead in the Honda, number 192. Morningstar Mike in the Audi R8, number 33. And Philtron MX5, I think is in number 91. I think that's what it will be. It's the factory Porsche team. So they'll be forming up their grid positions here and it'll be a rolling start. But I'm not too sure if it's single or double file. But if it is double file, I'm pretty sure Penguin will opt to go to inside line. So correction, Sparky, not Penguin. Correction on that last call. So Sparky's where he needs to be. Nacho's where he needs to be. I think Morningstar Mike is one position back from that. EXO should be in his position and he's getting up there now. And then that will be JJ Penguin. And we Phil, and You'll Be Dead, and then Brett Want, and they're all in position. So, yep, there we go. We've got the grid now. So, we'll go on chase cam, get an overview of competitor's car. So, Sparky in the Honda. I'm just going to call it the Honda, because it is a Honda. Got Nacho on the Lambo. EXO on the Audi R8. Morningstar Mike also on an Audi R8. Penguin also on an Audi R8. So a big train of Audis here. Maybe they got a little plan to work together to get past the front too. We got Philtron MX5 in the lonely Porsche in the field. Factory team. You'll Be Dead also on the Honda. And then Brett Want in the Ferrari. So it'll be up to Sparky when he wants to push away from the field. He'll try to gain every bit of advantage he can. But so it looks like they'll be going single file because they would have formed up by now. And obviously it makes it easier for turn 1. I don't think there will be an accident there. Obviously we want to see overtakes, but we don't want to see crashing at turn 1, that's for sure, because we got 15 laps to keep the car straight here. And I'm sure if, and we go green. So Sparky with quite a healthy lead heading into turn 1, almost 2 seconds. Nacho very slow off the line and he spins at turn 1. EXO having to make avoiding action, and we got massive amounts of chaos. So, Sparky God involved in that too. Exo also involved, having to avoid it. And then we got Nacho further back. So 3 guys involved with the first turn scaffold there. Not good. So Morningstar Mike overlooking this pack of 4. Very close. And JJ Penguin the big winner here. But what's happened here? Brett won with a bit of a rotation. He must have been helped there. Philtron MX5 with a massive lead here. I'm not sure what happened to Brett Want because now he sees himself back in the P6. Very unfortunate for him. He was looking for a massive haul of points. And it's all but diminished now. He would have a little bit of damage, obviously, in the rear wing. Maybe the front splitter as well, because he hit the wall pretty hard at the front. We're on board with You'll Be Dead, the championship leader. Oh, a bit of extra oversteer there, had to correct it. Mike's following Penguin very closely, so I think the front 3, they'll be battling it out. And we'll see who's first to blink with the pit stops. I'm sure everyone will try get it out as early as possible because it seems to be the trend in online racing. Obviously not iRacing, there's very different strategies involved there, but this is Project Cars 2, and in Project Cars 2 it is better to go on the pits earlier on than later on, so try to get on a new set of tyres very quick and you have a lot faster pace if they choose to go on a new tyre, that is. We'll soon find out who's first to blink. So You'll Be Dead, trying to catch up that lost time, but seems to be stagnating at that 2-second mark. Brett Want up in the P5, he's overtaken Sparky God, who had pole, and he's moved back 5 positions. Not good for him. Very awful round to forget for him. He's just going to have to get as much points as possible and move forward because that's all you can do. Got to make the most of your bad days, and I'm sure he will today. So we're on board with the front pack. Morningstar Mike, 7/10 behind JJ Penguin. I'm sure JJ Penguin won't make the same mistake as the last race. So we got an extra 6 laps, and he already has. There's massive chaos between the 2 Audis. JJ Penguin on his roof. That is race done for him, and we got further chaos with Sparky and JJ Penguin. Nachos. He'll be thankful to escape the chaos. So, 2 races in a row. JJ Penguin's binned it. We know he's got awesome pace. He's just not converting in the race, and he's got no aero. That is why he's spinning out. He's really struggling in that car. I'm shocked to see Morningstar Mike stay out because he'll have a little bit of damage to the front splitter. There's massive chaos there. I think what's going on with JJ Penguin, he's heating up the rear tyres. Or he has the rear tyre pressures set a bit too low or a bit too high. Either way, ends in a catastrophic accident that's mixed up the field a tiny bit. You'll Be Dead, the massive winner of that, because he's went from P4 to P2. And Phil with a very healthy lead, 6 seconds. He wouldn't have to pit in early. That's for sure. He's got track position. He wouldn't want to give that up. So we got unfortunate scenes in round 3 of the GT3 Thunder Series. Sparky all over the road, but he holds on to it. I thought he was catching up the Nacho, because at one stage he was, but he's struggling with a bit of rear stability here. So there's going to be a few guys struggling at the back of the pack with quite a severe amount of damage. JJ Penguin, one of those guys, he's in the pits to fix those damage that he's caused on his car. Looks brand new now, but he's got a lot of time to gain. I'm sure he won't be able to gain almost 2 laps on the lead guys, so he's going to have to settle for P8. And what's going on here with Exo? He's lost his rear wing, so he's slowing down, making it easier for himself so he doesn't damage the car further. Sparky, he might be heading in the pits. No, he's not. So he's going to stay out. He's going to try survive with that car. Nacho really struggling at turn 1. He's going to have to take a wider approach. By the looks of it, his car setup's not favouring the car balance through turn 1. So unfortunate for the front guys. They're not getting screen time at this stage. We got a battle starting to heat up between Brett Want and You'll Be Dead. But it's still a reasonable gap to call it a battle pack. But we'll stay on board with Brett Want, the sprint race winner. So he's moved from 8th to 3rd in this race. So he's looking good for a big haul of points as well. Been struggling to get a first position, but I'm sure he'll be challenging for 2nd. Every bit of extra point will count. So, talking about Penguin as well, I mentioned earlier, for him to realistically stay in the hunt for the championship, he must win almost every race and pretty much clean sweep every event. But now, his championship looks to be on the ropes, so he'll be kicking himself after this round's performance. He's going to have to back himself up next week. He's just going to have to look ahead, because if you keep focusing on this week, there's going to be no improvement. So we saw You'll Be Dead pit in. So he didn't make a tyre stop. So Exo and JJ Penguin, they both pitted in. They do not need to make their mandatory pit stop. JJ Penguin did it before the pit lane open though, so I'm not sure what goes on there. Obviously, I'm not the race steward, so I can't give an indication of what's going on there. They might give him a bit of leeway or the damage. I'm sure there was a few other guys that did it too. So we see Sparky Gold in the pits for his mandatory pit stop. Not changing tyres, so might be getting a little bit of damage fixed up. He's still staying there, so obviously damage being fixed up. So we're on board with Nacho. Really struggling in the Lambo with rear stability at turn 1. Looks to be all wobbly down the back straight. Really wrestling this car in terms of steering wheel use and acceleration use and gear shift uses, because by the sounds of it, he really used the engine as a brake heading into the bus stop. So we'll see the rear stability of Nacho heading into this hairpin, because we might be able to see where it's suffering. So a bit of exit oversteer. No, there's not. I think he's taken wider lines now, so maybe he's found the line that's really working for the Lambo. Oh, a bit too much jandle there. So really struggling. In the meantime, Morningstar Mike and Brett Want both make their mandatory pit stops. So You'll Be Dead, the first out of the stoppers. 26 seconds adrift from Phil. I don't think Phil's pit in, so Phil might be able to jump this lap before it starts to get a bit too late, because once you come out of the pit, you sort of refresh yourself and you start to punch out faster lap times. So for Phil, he's going to have to pit in at least the next 2 laps if the whole field's pitted in, because he's going to lose out if he stays out. A little bit of a rest will help his cause for obviously getting first. Quest for first, and he's pitting in by the seams of it. There we go. He's in. I'm still positive he will come out in front of You'll Be Dead because he had the lead easily. Unless he pits in for tyres. I wouldn't think he would. The pit crew's left the tyres there. There we go. He should be coming out. Now, there was a massive hold up there, and he might lose the lead. He is going to lose the lead. But he should slot out at least 2 seconds behind. Where is he? There he is. Nah, it's going to be a lot bigger deficit than that. So a lot of time lost for Phil. Still got half the race to go. So still plenty of time to gain that time back. I'm not sure what happened. If he made a mistake on an in-lap or a lap before. I don't know what happened. But You'll Be Dead. He's really racking up his name on the race feed with faster sector splits and faster slaps. So You'll Be Dead seems to have good pace in the middle of this race. So he's going to try to use that to his advantage. And XO in for another pit stop. Trying to find a battle pack here, but nothing presenting. So Nacho really struggling for rear stability, rear grip. He's going to have to go to the drawing board before next round to get the rear stability in that Lambo up to scratch. I mean, he's going to have to let someone through here. Not sure who it is, but Brett Walt with a bit of a mistake. Not good, and we've lost someone. We've lost Penguin. Wait, no, we haven't lost Penguin. We've lost Nachos. Unfortunate for Nachos. He's still going to get the points for 8th place, but you know, he was in a reasonable position there to maybe hold off a couple of these back guys in Sparky God and EXO, because they're a couple laps down now. So EXO letting the leaders pass very easily. So the only question that presents us now is, will Phil gain that time? Because he gained 2 tenths down the straight, but losing it all out of the bus stop. So he must be struggling for tyre grip later on in this race. I'm not sure of tyre settings here, if they're authentic or if they're accelerated. But if they're accelerated, yeah, they'll be really struggling. Hopefully something presents itself soon. Morningstar Mike and Brett would be the next closest battle. So Morningstar Mike just keeping the pace up. Should be able to challenge for a podium. He's got 7 laps to do it. You'll Be Dead with a comfortable lead. Championship leader. I mean, he's shown why he's the championship leader tonight. Hopefully it's not the commentator's curse that I've given him after that comment. So if he keeps the car straight, he'll come home in relative breeze. because Phil went further back to 6.3 seconds. Seemed to be a bit slow in the fast roller coaster section. Brett Want in P3, race 1 winner. It's extremely difficult for him to be able to win this race right now. I can't see it happening unless You'll Be Dead makes a mistake. It won't happen. There's no one that has 3 seconds faster lap times to be able to take the lead here. You have to be recording at least 42s to be able to get to the back of You'll Be Dead. So it's all but done for Brett Want in P3. He's going to have to settle for what he's got. He might have to hold up Mike later on if he catches up a little bit, because Morningstar Mike starting to see Brett Want in his cockpit view now, so he's getting reasonably close. The 3-second deficit for Morningstar Mike, very doable in this later stage. Last lap, Morningstar Mike a second quicker than Brett Want, so if we see those numbers again, then he'll be able to get up to the back of him. Unfortunate for Sparky God. Pole position this race. Got caught up in a bit of early race carnage. JJ Penguin also caught up in that carnage, but the mistake last race really cost him. So, like I said many times, he'll be kicking himself after that. Probably uncharacteristic mistake from himself. Gotta refresh my throat. So EXO moved up in the P6. I didn't even realise there was a battle going on between EXO and Sparky, because I'm too focused on this Morningstar Mike and Brett Want battle, because we got lap traffic up ahead that might play in the Morningstar Mike's favour. Obviously Brett Want wants to get through with relative ease, but so we got fastest lap from JJ Penguin, 1:44.8. He's topped the first 2 sector times as well. Sparky God now getting blue flags, so he will have to let him through down the main straight. He's led him through at the last corner. Very good sportsmanship from Sparky God here. He's got one more guy to come through, but as a lap car you don't have to get fully out of the throttle and straight on the brakes, because unless you do stuff like that, then it's well and truly worth, letting that time go. So Morningstar Mike and Brett, hopefully the battle starts to form in the last couple of laps, because I've got nothing else to show at this stage. We can give a bit of screen time to our leader, You'll Be Dead, but he's got a massive lead of 7 seconds, so Phil lost out very severely in the pit stops. I don't know what happened there, because his pit crew left him in there a bit longer than usual, I'd say. Unless there's a mandatory requirement to do a certain amount of fill, but I haven't heard anything along those lines. So as far as I know, they just have to transit pit lane, go into their pit box, and that's it. So as we speak, that Brett Want Morningstar Mike battle is heating up, because Morningstar Mike is right behind Brett Want. A lot of extra oversteer for Morningstar Mike, but holds onto it. Here we go. Brett Wong going out slightly wide. Going to unsettle him heading into the last corner. Goes out wide again. Scrapes the wall. Morningstar Mike having to make evasive action and gets the overtake done. Good awareness from Morningstar Mike to avoid that. But Brett Wong is still in the battle here for P3. He's not going to give it to Morningstar Mike that easily. It's easier to follow a car than be followed. That's for sure. You can base your braking markers and your apexes off of the car in front. It's a very hard job to do when you're in front of another car. Now we got a time penalty from Brett Wong, exceeding track limits. That will be for the last sector wide incident for him. It's alright because you'll lose a lot more time if you let your foot off the accelerator. So good choice just to take the penalty from Brett Wong. So as far as that goes for Brett Wong, he's going to have to get in front of Morningstar Mike and get a gap on him. So looking almost impossible for Brett Wong unless he punches out a couple good laps and forces Mike into a mistake. Little mistakes like that going out wide for Brett Wong are costing him a podium finish. So like I said, the car unsettled up here. That's where he got the slowdown penalty. He's avoided it this time. He shouldn't have the car unsettled heading into the last corner. Uses every bit of exit curb possible. Spike goes away. Yeah, sorry about the connection issues. Never had this going before.